It's finally here, the day the whole world has been waiting for, to find out who will become the US's next president.
Even with the voting during the weekend, it really hasn't helped. The queues are long. Ohio, in Virginia, New York, it's been crazy. People are very excited.
Doesn't that just remind us how big a country the US is? Because we've got about 30 million people that voted in the early voting stage, but there's still millions more voting.
Millions more to come. And with the different time zones, it's very interesting for us. And with us, we just have one single time zone. And for the US, it's totally different. As Sherwin mentioned yesterday, it's actually 4 time zones.
Yeah, we're glad we're here right now at this time, because we're going across to him. Let's take a look at what polls have been saying. Now, polls in the US will begin to close at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's around 1 a.m. South African time. And expectations are that results will start trickling soon after.
Now, the campaign has shifted gears from making the argument for voters to support them to get out the vote operations that could prove decisive when ballot counting starts later tonight. Now, our correspondent Sherwin Bryce-Pease, who has been out in the field all morning, joins us from the SABC Bureau in New York. Sherwin, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Exciting times. You've been up and about practically the whole day. Tell us about that.
Lulu, let me begin by correcting myself. I said 4 time zones yesterday. In fact, there are actually 6. There's something like Mountain Time, there's Central American Time, there's Pacific Time, there's East Coast Time, and 2 others which I can't remember right now. So it's actually a little more complicated than I'd actually thought. We were out in Harlem earlier today, Democrat country. Let's put that on the table. This is a state that Hillary Clinton is expected to win very, very easily. And that comes down to winning places like New York City, the most populous areas in states. Democrats, we had an analyst where we went to a briefing yesterday with an analyst who explained to us that essentially all states are red, but cities can turn states blue, and I think that's what the Democrats are hoping for, particularly in those swing states. They will be focused on the cities. This is places where you have universities, people with more liberal, progressive views on how the world should work. So that will be the emphasis. We were in, as I say, blue country today, and people very excited, old, young, all going out to vote today. And let's not forget, this has been a long election cycle, 18 months in and still going. So a lot of people are very excited to see the end of it, never mind the beginning of it.
Now, Sherwin, when we spoke to you yesterday, we were looking at the final push of campaigning, and it seems that it didn't end. We saw campaigns out in full force getting their supporters to the polls. Why is that mobilization is so important on election day as well?
Well, what we saw, right up until midnight last night, I think there were campaign rallies. Donald Trump was, I think, in Michigan, and the Clinton campaign, after a huge rally in Philadelphia last night, then went on to another a rally in North Carolina, in Raleigh, North Carolina, where she made an appearance with none other than Lady Gaga. And I think what you're seeing here is the urgency of this. They don't want to be seen to not be doing everything they can to make sure and enable their voters to get out the vote and really to get their messages across. I mean, we've spoken at length here, the 2 of us, or the 3 of us, about the importance of swing states, and you see the urgency here. Clinton wants to take everything, or wants to leave absolutely nothing on the table. She wants to ensure that if she were to lose this election, she would have done everything in her power to ensure that that was not the case. The same with Donald Trump. 4, 5 states a day, those critical swing states, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Florida. It's been an intense time, and I think candidates want to ensure that they cannot be criticized for not doing enough come election day.
Now, Sherwin, what does winning this election really come down to?
Well, in the past, people would often talk about, there was this catchphrase, it's about the economy, stupid. You know, when Bill Clinton ran for president in 1992, we saw that again in 2008, when Barack Obama went just ahead of the recession in the United States, when the world economy collapsed. It was about the economy, stupid, right? Not anymore. No one's talking about the economy. As much as the economy remains an issue, it's in the background. What people are talking about is that it's about demographics, stupid. It's about piecing together that coalition that propelled Barack Obama into the White House. Your Latino vote. Remember, the majority in this country still is a white majority, but that over time is demographically going to shift. You have lots of Latinos coming into this country. The black Asian population is rising. So white in 2040, I think the number is, will no longer be the majority. So Are you stitching together a coalition that is broad-based and is representative of all the demographics in this country? So demographics are very important. We've spoken about the record registrations we are seeing in places like Florida, in Nevada, in other states, record turnout by Latino voters, and of course we know what certain candidates have said about certain people in this country, and that might play itself very likely in this election come Wednesday morning.
Sherwin, now Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump both voting in the state of New York today will also have what they're both calling election victory parties in New York City tonight. What can we expect?
Well, only one of those can be an election victory party, and the other one will have to be a concession speech. They are literally about 1.5 kilometers apart from each other. Donald Trump is at a Hilton hotel in New York City. Hillary Clinton is at a place called the Javits Center tonight, a huge center where we're expecting thousands of people to go for that election victory party. They'll literally be, a short drive away from each other, and I tell you, the emotions will be quite different given or depending on the results tonight. Lots of people very excited. A lot of people, their most fervent supporters will be there. There will be a huge contingent of media. Remember, in many ways, and I think we don't talk enough about this, is that this is an historic election in many ways. I mean, you have this brash billionaire that basically came out of the ashes, if you will. No one really expected him to do as well as he has, and here he is at the top of one of the major party tickets in this country. Donald Trump, I mean, the host of The Apprentice to possible United States president, that's quite historic in many senses. And in addition to that, you have the first woman candidate to ever lead a major political party in this country into an election. She's a former First Lady. She's a former Senator of New York. She's a former Secretary of State. I mean, you don't have that kind of resume or that curriculum vitae running for president. You certainly haven't seen that in the past. So the historic nature of this woman candidate, the first woman candidate could very likely replace the first black candidate in the White House. That is a historic moment, and I don't think we talk enough about that.
Now, Sherwin, in many ways, this is the beginning of the end of the Obama era and his time in the White House. Is that beginning to sink in for people in the country?
I think it's beginning to sink in for certainly the Obama family. You saw them out at that huge rally in Philadelphia last night, joined by the likes of Bruce Springsteen and Bon Jovi. The Clintons were there. Hillary Clinton's daughter Chelsea was there. The former President Bill Clinton was there. And you sort of saw the passing of the torch in many ways. I mean, what we've spoken about a lot, and certainly the campaigns have done this, is that they want, the Obamas want their legacy to continue. Their work is not done. Obamacare, for example, his most signature legislation passed during his term, is not working as well as it should, and he needs someone to build on that. What have Republicans said? If they come into office, they want to repeal and replace. He doesn't want to see his legacy trampled on by the opposition party coming into the White House. You know, there are other stakes at play here. The fact that the House of Representatives is up for grabs today. This is not only a presidential election. The Senate will be decided today. And, of course, you have three tiers of government in this country, three houses of government that govern. And so what you want is, certainly from the Obama perspective, from the Hillary Clinton perspective, is for that legacy to continue. And from President Obama's perspective, the only way for that to happen is if Hillary Clinton wins tonight.
Sherwin, we'll have to leave it there for now, but we'll definitely be crossing to you in the next hour for more updates on that election. Thank you very much. Now, Lou, just some interesting points there from Sherwin. I mean, we've seen the tone of the campaign changing over and over and over again. And something interesting that he said was the fact that they're both in New York and there's only going to be one victory party.
One victory party, but it's very interesting to see that, the two campaigns, as time has been progressing, especially for the Democrats on Clinton's side. In the beginning, it was very angry and sort of, what some report journalists with other media houses were saying, that it was very angry. It was very, you have to vote for me. You have to put me in this post. And now it's more reconciliatory, where she's saying, I will be president if I get voted or elected. I will be president of everyone in the US, which is a totally different tone.
Then again, she was probably playing on what Donald Trump was doing, because he's been controversial and very out there throughout the entire campaign. So I think she got to a point where she was like, actually, this is the final day. whatever happens, happens, but she is feeling confident. You can tell the confidence, despite Donald Trump saying, you know, all those reports on voter fraud, reports that weren't necessarily confirmed.
Yes.
And we will keep looking at that and seeing does anything come out of that. But we'll definitely be crossing to Sherwin a little later on in our bulletin.
Now here at home, the ANC